This video will demonstrate WilloWare's Engineer to Order module for Microsoft Dynamics GP. The purpose of the ETTO module is to produce a manufacturing estimation, or ME, which is the estimated cost to produce an item. The ME is comprised of an estimation BOM, a routing, and a list of miscellaneous costs. This flowchart provides a high-level overview of how ETTO fits into GP. The process might start with a sales quote, where a non-inventory item has been used on the quote to provide your customer with an estimate of an item you do not yet produce. The ME process can also be used when converting new products from engineering to production. The new ME could be based on either a ballpark estimate using GP items or ME items that only exist in the ETTO module, a revision to an existing item using the existing BOM as a starting point for the new estimate, or a detailed product and process design, which is a complete BOM and detailed routing created from the ground up. If the customer accepts the ME, the ETTO module transfers the ME BOM and routing into GP manufacturing and creates new part numbers as needed. The new item is now ready to be produced and sold in GP. If the ME originated from a quote, the item will be converted to a real GP item and its price recalculated using the values from the ME. As we will see in the demo, it is significantly easier to produce an estimate using ETTO than it is using the manufacturing bill of materials and routing, because ETTO does not require all of the setups needed by manufacturing. Also, it prevents cluttering the live database with items, BOMs, and routings that will never be used if the estimate is not accepted. Today we're going to use the Manufacturing Estimation Maintenance window to take a new product from the prototyping stage into production. The new product that we're going to create is called Red Pen. Now, we can create the Red Pen bill of materials from scratch using a combination of real GP items and ME items that only exist in the ETTO module, or we can start with an existing bill of materials and then tweak the bill from there to meet our needs. So we're going to do that by clicking the Copy button. From here, we're going to choose our source item. Now, the source item can be a GP finished good, or it can be a finished good that we have previously created in the ETTO module and have saved it as a template for future builds. In this case, we're going to take a GP item called pen, and then we're going to create our new item number called Red Pen, and I'm going to choose a new BOM ID called Red and click Copy. Now that the copy process is complete, we can see that the ETTO module has pulled in the bill of materials structure from pen and applied it to Red Pen. The same can be said for the routing. Now it's time to start manipulating the bill of materials to be more applicable to the Red Pen. Beside barrel assembly and exterior assembly is an icon of a green arrow. This indicates that the ETTO module has also created ME versions of these bills of materials so that any changes we make to them will not impact the GP item. In this case, we do need to make an update to the barrel assembly. So to do that, we'll double click on one of the components and it will bring up the barrel assembly as the header item. And in this case, we need to change the black ink to red ink. So to do that, I'm going to double click on the black ink and bring it up in the Add Edit component window. And I'm going to simply delete it from the bill of materials. After doing so, I'm going to replace it with the red ink item that doesn't exist yet in GP. So what I'm going to need to do then is I'm going to need to link it to an actual real GP item. That GP item will be the source item number. And the source item is going to be used by the ME integration into the GP manufacturing Power Packs item copy functionality, so that it will have a source for all the setups needed when creating a new item. So black ink is a good starting point for us. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to assign it a quantity of 1, and I'm going to give it its own description. And I'm going to update the price from 50 cents to 55 cents. There's a premium for red ink. So we'll save that, and we'll close this window. So now my bill of material has been updated. The price is not going to be accurate, but we're not going to worry about that just yet. We'll roll up the cost once we've made all of our changes. So now that I've made changes to barrel assembly, I'm going to click the back button, and I'm going to go back into the red pen bill of materials. Now the next item in the bill of material is the exterior assembly. This particular finished good doesn't require any changes, so I don't need a new BOM ID for it. So I'm going to double click on exterior assembly, and instead of using the manufacturing estimate BOM that was generated by the ETTO module, I'm going to go back and I'm going to just use the manufacturing BOM, because that one will work just fine for this new item. So I'm going to save that. So now you can see the green triangle is gone, meaning that we're going to be using an existing GP item. The next change will be to the pen cap. We're going to need a red pen cap now. So I'm going to delete the existing pen cap, and just like I did before, I'm going to create a new item that only exists at this time in the ME module, and I'm going to link it to pen cap item. And I'm going to give it a quantity of 1, and the price can stay the same for this case. And click Save. So now we can see that red cap is a new item, so it's going to be one that will be created once we've accepted this particular bill of material. Now that I've made all the necessary updates to the bill of material, I can now go in and change the routing if required. I can add steps, or I can change existing steps that we have in the system, as well as deleting steps. For this example, make pen is adequate, but it should be noted that you can add, remove routing steps just as you would within GP. The Other Costs tab is where we can add miscellaneous costs to the new item that might be over and above the costs of the bill of materials, or the routing steps. This might be particularly the case if a customer orders a custom version of a particular item. You can assign the costs there, or if there's R&D costs that need to be rolled into the cost of the item but don't fit in the bill of materials or the routing labor. So in this case, I'm going to just put in testing time for the pen. That was that's a one-time cost. I'm just going to put 1, and I'm going to say $1. Now that all the costs have been established, we can do a cost roll-up to see what the changes are. So currently, our pen costs $6.97 prior to the roll-up. So if I choose cost roll-up, and it will ask to recalculate all the levels, and I say yes, it has now changed the price to $8.07. $4.97 of that is material. $1 of it is our miscellaneous cost, and then the rest will be labor. This field of profit, we have a negative $8.07, and the reason why there is that negative value is because we never established a unit price yet, and that can be done here in the estimation quantities window. The estimation quantities window can be used to generate an estimate for any number of user-defined quantities. The default estimation quantity is 1. Now, if you recall, in the Other Costs tab, we added a $1 cost for testing. Now, with an estimation quantity of 1, that $1 is directly applied to that 1 unit. However, if we decide to make 10 items, we now have the opportunity to spread that $1 across all 10 items. So by clicking Recalculate, you can see that the unit cost for each of those 10 red pens is now $7.17 as opposed to $8.07 as it was before. This could be useful for determining production run quantities, or it could also be used if a customer is ordering a custom product. You can say, if you order 10 of them, the unit cost is only this. If you order 1, it's much higher. And then from there, we can then choose the unit price. For a net quantity of 1, I could set a unit price of $9 and earn a 93-cent profit. For a quantity of 10, I could set a unit price of $8, and then my overall profit for those 10 items will be $8.30. Now that we've completed building out our bill of materials, updating our router, applying any miscellaneous costs, we are now ready to accept this this prototype and push it into production. Before we do that, we'll do a quick recap. We're going to be creating a new bill of material ID for barrel assembly. It's going to be a BOM ID red, which will create a configured BOM for barrel assembly that will then be used to create the red pen. We're going to reuse an existing exterior assembly. We're going to reuse the spring, and we're going to create a new item called red cap. So the last thing we need to do is accept one of our quantities. In this case, we're going to accept an estimation quantity of 10, which means it's going to generate a unit price for the red pen of $8, and it's going to create the unit cost will be $7.17. So we're going to click accept. Now the process is complete. Red pen will stay in the ETTO module for future reference. In case we want to create a blue pen, we can use red pen then as the basis. Now that the process is complete, if I open up the manufacturing bills of material entry screen for red pen, I can see that I now have a red pen with a version of barrel assembly and also red cap. For more information about this or any of our other products, please visit us at willowware.com or email sales@willowware.com.